few people here tonight to speak on behalf of Mr. Bennish. So tonight, the Board of Education will merely acknowledge receipt of the recommendation from District Administration to move toward dismissal of Mr. Bennish. This Board of Education will then decide whether to retain or dismiss Mr. Bennish.
Bennish is concerned. I know what he did for my daughter. And as a woman of faith, that man does not have a racist bone in his body. Parents and teachers, get that principal out. If you did not do a thorough investigation, you're setting up us, parents, taxpayers, for a payout.
As an educator myself, I have always looked up to him for his passion for teaching. As a teacher, he has inspired his students to question, learn, and grow. His motivation has been empowering his students with knowledge. He is respected by his students, past and present. I could only hope that even one of my students would speak of me the way hundreds will speak of him. Jay Bennish is an asset to the Cherry Creek School District and education as a whole. A new administrator should not be able to derail your career within a matter of weeks. It is a frightening precedent to set.
I'd like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one who stands in support and solidarity to reinstate Jay Bennish. Each one, teach one. Jay Bennish is a loyal and dedicated veteran employee who has given 20 years of highly effective service to this district and community.
What's even worse is that I'm a black student, a black person every day of my life, and this is one teacher that taught me to be proud, and that the simple fact of being black is something that you should hold your head up high about. The district wrote in its letter that all students deserve to feel safe, respected, and valued at school, yet they have proceeded with this board meeting when the voices of thousands of students have said what they're doing is unethical. And to add on that, there was a petition signed by over 1,200 students and people of the community, yet we are still standing here today. That should have been the end of it. I don't understand why we're here.
It is incredibly heartbreaking to see such an amazing teacher go through this. Mr. Bennish means a great deal to everyone he has ever taught. If you all could see the anger in hundreds of Facebook comments explaining how Mr. Bennish was their favorite teacher, 90% of them being students of color, then you would understand how much he is loved and how much of an impact he has made on students. The district sent a letter out to parents that he created a harmful and negative learning environment. Sounds to me as if he was already found guilty. The first month of school, he was put on leave due to not allowing a student to use derogatory words. That in itself is a great lesson taught by Bennish. Why would any educator allow students to speak that way? At that, a Black Student Alliance. An article that I read that came out from CBS Denver stated that Mr. Bennish made t-shirts and handed them out. This is false news. A student stepped up and admitted she created those shirts. But the district continued to publish that letter accusing Mr. Bennish of the t-shirts. Do we really have anything on Bennish? I don't know who I would be without Mr. Bennish. The students have spoken and the parents have spoken. What are you going to do now?
This is simply too low a bar for dismissal after 20 years of dedication to Cherry Creek Schools as a teacher. Please raise the bar, do the right thing, reinstate Jay Bennish, and turn your gaze on the few that work so hard to manufacture this suspension and call for termination. Please shine your light on what is motivating this witch hunt, and I'm sure you'll uncover the real problem here.
Now, deeply I regret the decision to file a grievance against such a fantastic teacher and educator. It brings me shame every single day of my life when I think about this. I've come to since realize that Jay is the ultimate reflection of the kind of teacher you want shaping and helping your students to grow and mature.
I'm here in support of Mr. Bennish, but you know what? I vote that you all do not reinstate him. You know what, Mr. Bennish? They do not deserve you. Man, this man is teaching African-American kids, Latino kids, white kids, everything else. He's teaching them things about history, things that folks are scared to talk about. We're gonna teach these kids who they are. We're gonna give them the history, and we're inviting everybody who wants to have the conversation. We need allies. My brother, you an ally to me. I love you, Mr. Bennish. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. We're supporting you all the way through and through. All right, man, we're gonna get through this one way or another. You got a whole army behind you, I promise.
You keep teachers like Mr. Bennish, we're giving students a reason to stay, and are giving students a reason to come to school, and are giving students a reason to enjoy school more than just the 9 to 5 that they have to deal with every day. If you want to solve all those problems that we read tonight, keep teachers like him.
By speaking out against this dismissal,
I also hope to be bravely representative of those educators that were too fearful to speak their truth.
I have also wondered why the T-shirts were never addressed over the span of the past 4 years by previous administrator Leon Lundy.
Mr. Bennish was someone that I felt like, wow, this is someone that I feel like is teaching me about me. And I consider him, to a certain extent, someone who is a black teacher for me.
Any teacher who serves for 2 decades will have disagreements. However, the accusation that Jay creates a racist and hostile climate at Overland is a serious offense and on a completely different scale. I have sat next to Jay Bennish's desk for 5 years, and I've taught down the hall from his classroom for almost as long. I have likely interacted with Jay more than I've interacted with any of my other colleagues, or anyone in the building for that matter. I have never seen him create anything other than a safe, welcoming space for students. I've never heard him speak in any of the matter he's being accused of. I witnessed firsthand the exchange that precipitated his being put on leave on August 27th. I was there. In that exchange, he was calm, collected, understanding. He was doing what any good teacher would do, urging them, challenging their students' preconceptions and urging them to think critically. No investigator ever asked me for my statement on this event.
Jay Bennish has been a mentor to students at Overland and the sponsor of the Black Student Alliance for 15 years. I found nothing that Jay has done to be offensive or racist. I am so tired of the false notion that talking about race is racist.
And for a man who is not of color to stand up with the courage to speak to young African American men and women and explain to them the pain, the degradation that comes with that word, and to stand knowing that retaliation may come, is an incredible human being. They make sacrifice after sacrifice. He's been there 20 years, and this is what 20 years has gotten him.
However, in my opinion, Jay Bennish is and always will be one of the best teachers I have had in my life, and one I will never forget. I am not proud as of this moment right now to be called an Overland alumni anymore. To terminate a teacher for a shirt that was created in 2017 that I created personally with students. Learn from this moment, learn from Jay Bennish. Open your mind and see what you are really doing. If you move to terminate Jay Bennish, you move to terminate everything he has done for Overland High School and his community. I'm sorry, and thanks.
While individuals are free to speak as they wish in their private lives, racist and sexist terms have no place in an inclusive, multicultural public school. I have never directed racist language at a student, nor would I allow a student to direct racist language towards their peers. I have always been an advocate for all of my students, especially those who have been harmed by racism, prejudice, discrimination in all of its forms. I have remained steadfast in my commitment to support student voices and provide them with a platform to develop their leadership abilities and literacy skills.
And like Jay Bennish, my career has been cut short, all under the false pretense of the district's term of equity. The district should not encourage the use of courageous conversations and then reprimand teachers for doing so.
Jay Bennish sponsored black students when no one else would.